for too long. I don't know what else to do. I wanna get away from every little thing just to try to make it through.
Hold on a second, you might be wondering who that guy is since I usually ride alone. Well, my oldest brother joined me for this trip, so you're gonna have to tolerate him just like I did. Kidding aside, the first day of our trip took us from Moncton to just north of Baie Comeau. We left home at the crack of dawn with empty stomachs, trying to get a few miles under our belts before stopping for a traditional Canadian road trip breakfast.
That's better. There's a pothole, I almost fell down. Put the side stand right in the fucking hole.
So after avoiding dropping my bike for the umpteenth time and having a good breakfast, we were back on the road to see some traditional New Brunswick sights like Acadian lawnmowers. And apparently nuns. And after another half-hour riding, it was time for the first planned stop of the day.
You know me and my planes. This is one of the Voodoos? That's a Voodoo, yeah. It would fire those two and then it would flip around and there were two more inside. Cool, let's go.
Shortly after leaving this rocket that was retired in the 1980s, we got to see a rocket that was built in the 1980s. Something so rare I never thought I would see it in person.
959. Look at that.
Nothing like driving a car potentially worth millions around the Miramichi, although that value probably just dropped having put Irving gas in it. With my inner 80s child content, we headed north.
There's no Canada like French Canada. It's the best Canada in the land. The other Canada is hardly Canada. If you lived here for a day, you'd understand. Ho ho ho! Welcome to French Canada!
Having crossed over into Quebec, it was time for our next stop of the day, and I thought these might have been dirt bike trails or something that we could ride up, but apparently
I don't
not.
think you want to leave the bikes and walk up those ox cart paths you saw. That's you? Yeah. What do you think? It's up to you. There's stuff to see. We'll go to the next one.
While I hate to leave something that I wanted to look at behind, I had a backup plan, and honestly this worked out for the best because this road up here was awesome and we didn't have time to do both, so it worked out.
That's a nice road. I didn't want to stop at the other one because, geez, you're parking your bike right on the main highway. This one, I don't think another car
Nobody's
can go
coming
by.
up here.
What's that?
Nobody's coming up here.
No, no. Good, no good.
So after taking in those glorious views for a few minutes, we continued north, and I can't even explain the riding here. These are great roads, lots of twists. I could come back to this area every summer and be happy. So we cut back to the west, to try to get to the 132 again, and call this the luck of Google Maps or GPS or whatever, but this road was just fun. Dirt road, similar to the Trans Quebec Trail that was on the previous year through the Gas Bay. Fun stuff, nothing hard, but just awesome to be seemingly in the middle of nowhere with nobody around. And I think my brother liked it too.
That was that.
That's pretty fun. I like that. I'm glad I got this.
Yeah.
Once back on the 132, we were treated to decent weather, glorious views of the Metapedia River and rolling hills, lots of curves. This is just a glorious motorcycle road and should be on everybody's list. and it wasn't long before we made it to our next stop of the day. So after admiring the bridge for a little bit, it was time to give my brother and his newfound camera anxiety a bit of relief.
Get it on there good?
Well, you'll see it fall off. You're looking
Okay,
right at
good.
it. Yeah, you're looking right at it.
So we continued along the 132, further admiring the Matane River. As my brother had never ridden in this area, I decided to cut off and do a short section of the Trans-Quebec Trail that I did the prior year. I also had some unfinished business here, as last year I couldn't make it to the bottom of the waterfalls because by that point my knee was shot.
All good?
So after leaving the waterfall and heading down this section of the Trans-Quebec Trail, I had a overwhelming sense of nostalgia for last year's trip. And part of me wanted to keep going and follow it further than I did last year, but my brother and I had been planning this trip for a while. He finally got the right bike. I really needed to set those feelings aside, and we needed to head north to Labrador. And also by this time, we were starting to get a little bit behind. We had originally planned to stop at another covered bridge, which I always do. But when we saw it, we just drove by and made it to the ferry terminal at pretty much the last minute.
Hello.
Avez la réservation?
Oui.
Quel nom? Pay on the boat.
We pay on the boat, okay?
Okay.
Awesome, thank you. Gauche.
I don't know why, but I always love ferry crossings. There's just something relaxing about them. So after a crossing of a little more than 2 hours, it was time to go. Now make sure you pay on the boat and have your ticket ready to show them so they'll let you off. And a word of caution while leaving the Baie Comeau terminal. Instead of looking at the scenery like I am here, maybe pay attention to road signage. Neither one of us noticed this lane merging sign.
Would have been nice if there was some warning that that lane ended.
I'll just follow you, so that's my mistake.
No, but there was nothing. I got around the corner. When I went around the corner, I was like, the lane ends. Like, and I looked back, and you were only halfway up the truck. So I was like,
Well, I saw it coming over, and I was like, oh, shit, there's no lane.
yeah, all right, we'll find a place to eat.
Nothing works up an appetite like a near-death experience.
One entree later.
So, need to get in a better spot. We're there.
So this sign is kind of the unofficial start to the Trans Labrador Highway, so it's starting to feel real now. So after taking the obligatory video and pictures at the 389 sign, we headed up the road. And it's nice and twisty, just the first section before you get into the construction. So just north of Baie, Comeau, we turned off onto the English River Road, which is a dirt road. Lots of views of cliffs and lakes and just great riding. And we found the most perfect camping spot right next to the river with a waterfall just near enough that we could hear it all night. Perfect way to end a day.
A new place, a new home. For a while, let me feel alive. Nothing to hold me back. Take my time, just enjoy the ride. A new man passing by. Life is good, best I've ever felt.